Hello, all you viewers. It's Francis Jeffrey coming to you again. Except this time I'm inside St. George's Church in Guilford, Connecticut, when there's no mass going on. I was realizing moments ago that this is one of the very few opportunities that I'm gonna get for a while to use lens filters to do photography. I believe the lens filter that I just put on this camera here makes the image 2 stops darker. So in order to compensate for that, I'm gonna have to make my exposure settings on here 2 stops brighter. So that involves changing the shutter speed 1 stop up, as well as an attempt to change my f-stop 1 stop up. I do the best I can to keep my ISO as low as possible to prevent a grainy image from happening. So now I'm gonna think about composition here. And the point of lens filters is to brighten the dark parts of an image and darken the bright parts of an image so that you have like a more even exposure. But I hardly ever use lens filters because I live in South Bend, Indiana, and I believe using lens filters can, legally speaking, be a way to violate someone's privacy inside their house, because oftentimes when you can see windows of someone's house from the street, you generally see blackness, right? But when you use a lens filter, that could potentially brighten any part of the interior of the house so that it becomes visible in the image from the street when the human eye is actually not supposed to see it. So that's why I don't use lens filters to photograph private houses, because I don't get permission to do it, because I don't need permission to do it, because I do it when the only angle of the house that I'm seeing is visible from the public street. I don't want to invade anyone's privacy. So I'm just gonna take an image here as soon as I get my composition right, and then see how correct I am about what sort of lens filter I've got on the camera. Now the camera is at a little bit of a crooked angle, so I'm going to fix the angle. Zoom in on the image here so that I have a better image. I also need to put a timer on here. I have it on the right white balance. I'm not too familiar with this camera, so it's gonna take some time for me to do this stuff here. All right, now this image is a little bit lens distorted, so if I decide to use it, I'm first gonna have to edit it in Photoshop. And most likely crop out that white spot in the lower left of the image. Now I'm going to take the lens filter off, and then I'm not going to change the exposure setting, and I'm going to see what happens. That was bad. Oh well. You see, the first one is more correct in terms of exposure than the second one, and the second one is the one that I had with the lens filter on. So, I don't really know. It certainly darkened the bright areas. I guess now I should try getting the exposure to be mid-tone in range without the filter being on and see what happens. That's a little bit darker than mid-tone. How about that? Okay, this is the one where I got it mid-tone to the best of my ability without the lens filter. And that is the lens filter shot. So yes, lens filters can definitely be used to brighten up dark areas of the image, which in turn could mean that if you're photographing houses and you can see windows in the image, and the windows are uncurtained, but you can't see any of the interior of the house with the naked eye because the only thing you can see is blackness, then a lens filter could definitely be used to take an image which alters that. So, yes, indeed, that could be one way to violate someone's privacy inside their house. So I was right. And I was also right in deciding to never ever use a lens filter when photographing private houses from the street without the owner's consent, unless it is one of those lens filters which does not have any darkness to it, which is used for the sole purpose of protecting the camera's lens when the lens cap is off it. I don't know what they call those filters, but they do exist, and they are filters that do not have any color to them, which therefore do not affect how the image comes out. It would come out the same way it would if there was no filter on the lens. Okay, so that's the end of the video. Bye-bye.